We flew United Polaris Business Class from Chicago O'Hare to Frankfurt, Germany on a Boeing 787-10. We're going to answer the question,
is it worth it?
Do you think this was worth it?
Yeah, I think it was worth it.
There are some pros and cons that we'll tell you about, just to be from like a spoiled point of view. Get to lay down the lie-flat seat, and we'll talk about the food and the service. But the things that's shown most for us, I would say, are
the friendliness of the staff and the comfort of the seat. This was a 9+ hour flight. Being able to fully lie down was really important to us.
And we'll tell you the secret to getting a more comfortable bedding experience. Let's start with the check-in process.
We did have a shorter line when we checked in, but it wasn't anything to write home about. One thing that did stand out was that we did get the priority baggage. That means that our bags came out first at baggage claim, which saves you a ton of time.
Let's talk about the lounge, which I know, Maddie, that's one of your favorite parts of the flight, and I really love it too. How was the food?
We had a special experience because we were flying on Thanksgiving Day. The buffet, they did have turkey and cranberry sauce and mashed potatoes. The buffet food was delicious. I was really glad to get my turkey fix. Now, the restaurant, on the other hand...
So I thought it was cool they actually have like table service with a waiter. You don't always get that in a lounge. You have the choice. So we put in for a reservation. We were there a while. Service was fine, but the food wasn't great at the restaurant for what we had. I definitely like the buffet food better. They also have a bar with a real bartender. Some people appreciate that. For me, it just meant it took longer to get drinks. So I didn't love that aspect either, but it was nicer. It was a nice touch. Just depending on what you're interested in. Those are in the Chicago Polaris lounge specifically.
That was at O'Hare. One thing to mention, especially of the lounge, was that the Polaris Business Class lounges at O'Hare were under construction. I think their main lounge was under construction. It was pretty crowded. When we walked in, we actually had to wait a little bit to find 2 seats together. There was a line for the bathrooms. They were unisex bathrooms, 1 person at a time. That is something to keep in mind when you are looking to maybe pay extra for this lounge experience. Another part of the lounge being overcrowded, which I think is unlucky for us, there wasn't really a separate work area. So if you were planning on getting work done while you were sitting in the lounge, it might have been not the best place or time for. There wasn't really like a separate quiet area that you usually see in these lounges.
You do get free Wi-Fi, and still it beats the terminal 100 times.
It's a beautiful lounge. They did a great job aesthetically, but it was tight and cramped.
Let's talk about the boarding process. We got a little unlucky because the flight kept getting delayed, and one of my big pet peeves is having to ever leave the lounge. I like to leave the lounge and boom, you get on the plane. And we were spoiled with Emirates because you got to leave from the lounge. That was pretty dope. In this case, like a normal person, you walk through the terminal and so on. So we had to like give up our comfortable seats and drinks and food, and it kept getting delayed, but that was just kind of bad luck.
We did have priority boarding with these business class seats, but it looked like a lot of people were also priority boarding. Didn't really get us on the plane any faster, although since we had the business class seats, we still had an overhead bin to yourself, and you weren't fighting for that space. We weren't doing drink service while you were boarding, so you did have to wait a little bit if that's something that you're looking forward to. It did take them after we took off, which that also been because we were delayed.
Seating layout, which seat to choose. If you're flying on your own and you want a window seat, you should look at the map, and you can see there's some that are angled away from the window and some seats that are angled straight with the window. Those are the odd rows, right?
Those seats are parallel to the window. That would be more privacy and better for a single person trying
themselves. And if you're a couple like us flying together and you want to be close together, try an odd number row. We sat in seats 9G and 9D. The even number rows, they're angled apart. So if you're flying on your own and you don't want to interact with a stranger or someone else there, we would choose those. How was the legroom?
Legroom was really nice. These United Polaris business class seats fully recline, and they come out to 6 feet 6 inches long when the seat's completely flat. We're both pretty tall. I'm 5'8", Scott's 6'2", and we were both able to comfortably lay down.
So here's the secret to making the seat more comfortable when you lay down. They don't automatically hand you a mattress pad for some reason. And for us, we like it more fluffy, soft. Instead of laying on a seat, you get to lay on a mattress pad. So just ask for one and they'll bring it to you.
The staff are super friendly and willing to help. The counter space was nice because you did have this little cubby with a door on it that closed if you had like personal belongings that you wanted to keep near you.
How was the entertainment?
The entertainment was really nice. I watched The Holiday, so that got my Christmas fix in. The screen's really good, 16 inches. They had nice headphones and a remote that you could control everything from, so you didn't have to constantly lean forward to touch the screen. They also provided Therabody Amenity Kits. They were these little crossbody bags, which are perfect if you're traveling. They came with socks and an eye mask. We didn't get any pajamas or slippers. United only gives those out if your flight is at least 14 hours long.
How are the pillows and blankets?
The pillows and blankets were really fluffy. Everything was really clean.
Let's talk about the food. We had the smoked duck as an appetizer that's served cold. And you had the seared flat iron steak, and I had the spicy chicken for the main course. And we both had creamy scrambled eggs for breakfast. How'd you feel about the food?
Food wasn't my favorite. It wasn't necessarily bad. It wasn't that great.
Yeah, I would say it was okay. It wasn't standout. You're not going to remember the flight for the food. Maybe you'll have a different dish on your flight. It was okay. But again, the main thing on this flight that made it worth it was service and comfort.
They did have a lot of good drink options. They had this Taylor Fladgate port that we really like.
Yeah, name brand alcohol, Tito's, Jack Daniels, just familiar brands. They're pretty good about bringing out the drinks too.
So, was the United Polaris Business Class flight worth it?
Yes, it was definitely worth it using points. To me, when you can lay down and fly across the Atlantic Ocean, it's going to be worth it. And if you paid money, then you want to think about if you want this flight, or if you have an option from your airport, a different flight for your money. But yeah, the service and I think the comfort, it beat my expectations. My expectations weren't the highest, but I enjoyed the flight. The only thing I would improve, I think, would be the food and maybe make the lounge less crowded, but it could just be that there was construction. If you enjoyed this review, please like, comment, and subscribe, and share it with people who might be considering this flight also. And you can join our email list so you never miss a video on touchdownmoney.com.